Hello home bosses. Today is slightly different from my normal videos. Normally I prepare a video on a certain topic and then talk about it. But today I thought we'd just have a little chat over coffee. I've got my coffee here, so hopefully this is just a relaxed talk amongst friends, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done this year and what I'm planning to do next year. Now that we're coming towards the end of the year and it's nearly Christmas, I can't believe how quickly this year has gone for me. I don't know about you. Has it gone quickly for you as well? It was like a blink of an eye for me. I still remember thinking last January what I was planning for this year, and some of the things I have implemented and some of the things I haven't managed to implement. I think that is the case with every year, that we plan things, and some plans they work beautifully and others just don't happen. And so we have to allow for those kind of things. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. But I did find that this year I was a lot more strategic, and I think that is the big lesson that I've learned this year, that you actually have to be a lot more strategic. So I remember when I first started, I was, like I mentioned this many times, I just started publishing low content books and I didn't have a plan as such. I just tried different things. And some of them worked, some of them didn't work, and I'm sure you're going through the same thing. Some of your books might not be working and some do. And for some of you, they might not be working at all, and you still haven't found that niche or that thing in publishing that will take you forward and create an income for you. And those are the people that I want to help, because I think that we've all been stuck at times, and I think it's really important that you keep moving forward and find that thing that's going to work for you. And that's not easy. I do realize that sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it takes time. But the one advice I can give you if you're in that situation is to try something different. If you are creating something and you're not seeing the results and you're creating more of the same, you have to pivot and try something different. And that can be as simple as a different niche, but it's not often that, because I see a lot of people publishing in one niche and then that doesn't work, and then they publish in another one and then in another one. And I think what you have to do different is not find a different niche, but promote it differently. So think about, what are you doing to promote your book? It's obviously not working in your case. And then what can you do differently? What else can you do to promote your book? So you have to think on those lines of, what can I do that's different to what I normally do to help me grow in this business? And for those of you who are seeing some results and you want it to grow and you want to see better results even, it's kind of the same thing. You can change niches and see if that works, but find what's working in your niche. Find the thing that is resonating with your customers. I think the big secret to being successful is to finding what your customers actually like and what they want from your products. And that's the same with books. It's the same with any products at all. So this year for me was to find really what is working and refining that and being more strategic. And there were a lot of disruptions this year. I mean, life gets in the way sometimes and you can't always plan for it. We moved. It's now been 2 years since we moved. I can't believe we've been here 2 years. I still feel like we've only just moved. And we had a lot of things done to the house, and that causes disruption. So you will have the same sort of things. You plan something and then something happens and it disrupts those plans, and you have to do something else. But that's life, and we have to work with it rather than against it. So I've learned this year that there are a lot of things that I have to cut out and leave behind and focus on the ones that move the needle, because those are the ones that ultimately matter in the business. And the other thing that I found is also, or the other thing that I've learned is that strategy is really important. I've mentioned this before, but that's really been the most important lesson for me this year. I've created my books more strategically, and I've created other things in my business more strategically, you know, that I create courses as well and things like that. And it's not been very strategic. I've just tried different things. And I guess that's okay. That's how everybody starts. But one takeaway this year has been that as soon as I started being more strategic, things went a lot smoother. And that's what I want to do for next year. I'm really excited about next year because I've got lots and lots of plans. And I will share them with you, what I plan to do, so that you can either join me or maybe learn something from it. And I will share my mistakes as well, so that you can learn from them as well. And yeah, that was one of my mistakes, is that I wasn't strategic early enough. I should have been more strategic from the beginning, but you don't know those things when you're first starting. So if you are publishing low content books, do you have a strategy? Ask yourself that question. Do I publish strategically? And what do I mean by that anyway? You know, do you publish in a certain niche and then you stick to that niche and then you try out different things within that niche? Do you promote your books? You know, do you have a promotion strategy as well? So that has to be something as well that you do strategically. So there's so many things that I find a lot of people are still not doing. They're not promoting their books. They're just relying on organic traffic, and that is getting a little bit more difficult unless you find a niche with very low competition and with high demand. Then you can still make sales, but those kind of niches are getting less and less now. There are a lot of good niches to publish in, and they do have high competition, and that never stopped me, because as long as you promote your books, and you can do that without spending money on advertising, you can promote on social media. There's all sorts of ways to promote, and I do talk about this on my channel a lot as well. And I will make more videos about that as well, because I think people are still not really doing that, and that's a really important part of your book creation. It's the more difficult part, because it's a lot easier to create a book, and then when it comes to promotion, we're all a little bit shy, and we're all a little bit I don't know how to promote, but there are ways of doing that, and I will make more videos about that for you, so you can learn a little bit about promoting your books more, which is, I find that is really helpful, and that's the way forward. And I also found that low content for me was a way into the publishing business, and I kind of expanded into more medium content and also into non-fiction. And I'm even thinking of maybe creating some kind of fiction. I mean, I have done with my children's books. They are fiction after all. So I guess I could say that I have published fiction, but I think it's really important to shift to higher content. So if you're doing low content and it sells, perfect. I still have notebooks that sell and journals that sell. So it's not a problem to create low content books. But I think that it's a good idea to go into medium content. All these terms, low content, medium content, they were all made up terms. And Amazon recently really sort of acknowledged that low content is a thing, and they are actually talking about low content books. So medium content is another made up term, and what we mean by that is things like puzzle books, or things where the pages are not repeated all the time, where every page is different. Whereas a notebook or a journal would be probably very repetitive. They're just lines on every page. And that's what I would class as a low content book. So medium content books and fiction and non-fiction is what I want to concentrate on this coming year, because I think that I really want to create more children's books. They're doing well for me. So I want to create more of that. Find what you're selling and then create more of that type. And then the other thing is puzzle books and activity books. They're very popular. So that's another thing I want to get into. And as you know, I wrote The Positivity Switch, and I haven't promoted it. So sales on that are not great, but I didn't do it for the sales. I wanted to create something that I like, that I'm all about being positive. So this is something that I wanted to create just for the sake of it. There's lots and lots of books. There are lots and lots of books on positivity out there. So it was a tough competition. And I think what I'm going to try this year is I'm going to try and promote it. So I'm going to try and promote it on TikTok, which I find really hard to get my head around, but I'm going to try and do it more and see what happens. So I'm going to try that and see if I can promote my books through TikTok. And I have tried that before and it works in some cases. It just depends on the brand. Some things sell better than others. So I'm going to try with the Positivity Switch, which I would say is a very crowded, competitive market. So we'll see how that goes. And that's one of the things I want to do for next year. So for me, I wouldn't have been able to write a book like that if I hadn't gone into low content first. If someone had asked me 5 or 6 years ago that, would you ever write a book? I would have said, no way. I don't know how to do that. And here we are. So I have written books now and it's not that difficult. It actually is something that anyone can do. You just have to know how to do it. And I would say the best thing you can do is to start with low content, because that teaches you the process and it's fairly easy. You don't have to write anything, so it's easier to create the actual book. And once you've done that and you're confident with the upload process, with the creation process, how to format your books, then you should look into medium content and even written books, because that is something that's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of income in that as well. So it's another income stream that you can add to your low content books. And it might be also something worth trying if you're not doing very well with low content, because like I said, it is a very competitive market now, even though I still think it's one of the best things you can do in terms of starting a new business from scratch. And it's something that is the cheapest way to start a business. In actual fact, it's free to start publishing low content books or any books. So from that point of view, it's probably the easiest business or the most cost effective business to start. So I'm really happy that I did start, because I've learned so much and I can do so many things now that I couldn't do before. And this has opened a completely new door for me. So I've created courses now. That's another thing I never did before. Even though I was teaching, I never created an online course. So that was something new for me. And that is something that you could also do as an add-on or as an additional income stream. And you could create digital products to sell on Etsy or even on your own website. And there's so many different opportunities once you are in this KDP low content book creation world. You can really create so many different types of income streams once you learn how this all works. And that's why I said creating low content books is a really good entry into that, because it just teaches you how to, I didn't even know how to use Canva or how to use a computer properly. All I ever used a computer for in the past was to write emails, and look at me now. Now I can do all these things online, and it was a bit of a learning curve, and I spent many hours. I was lucky in the sense that my children are grown up, so it wasn't too much of a problem. I know that for those of you who still have small children to look after, time can be a difficult thing to navigate around, because you just don't have the time sometimes. But the beauty of this business is that you don't really need too much time if you want to start it slowly. All it means is that your results will be maybe a bit slower in arriving, but you can still start this business. And then the more time you get once the children go to school, and you find time to do that after a while. But yes, it's something that you can start with no money at all. And this is really actually a business where you trade money for time. So if you haven't got much time, then you might have to invest in courses and learn how to do things quicker, or you might have to invest in different tools that help you with research. So there is that, but you can absolutely do it for free, because I started doing this in any way that I could for free. And I think that the first tool that I ever bought was Tangent Templates, and then I bought some courses and other things. So that really helps, but you can definitely start for free. And the other thing I'm thinking to do next year is to pivot more into a more general topic. I mean, I'm obviously always going to talk about self-publishing and creating low content books, but I'm also thinking of maybe teaching people how to do other parts of this business, parts of my business. So as you know, I create courses, I have Etsy shops, I create digital products. So I'm wondering whether I should also talk more about that side of things, how to build your email list. And I know I've talked about this in the past, and I've never really gone ahead with it and done that, because I'm still feeling that maybe you still want me to talk more about low content books. So what I might do is I might ask you, what do you feel about other types of income streams? Would you be interested in that? And I will maybe run a poll in one of the Facebook groups and maybe send an email to all of you and ask how you feel about that. Because the other idea I had was to maybe create a membership where people can really work with me, rather than, my Facebook group is quite nice, and you get a lot of information in there and a lot of help. But how would it be if we had a membership where I do weekly calls, for example, where I'm live and you can ask questions and we can be on camera and see each other, so that I can actually talk to you and give you personalized advice. So that is another idea I had for next year that I might do. So I wonder how you feel about that, how you would feel about a membership. I don't know at what price point that would be, but it would be reasonable. I wouldn't say, actually, maybe send me your ideas. What would your ideal price point be for a membership, and what would you expect to get for that? So that might be a good way for me to find out what you need. Because I think this is all about, my job is all about finding out how to help you. And if you can tell me how I can do that, I would really appreciate that, so that we can make next year a really good year. Because I'm thinking that next year is really going to be a big year for us. I'm really excited about it. I've got lots of plans. I just need to put them into place. I just need to find out from you what would be the most helpful thing that I could produce for you. How can I help you to create your income stream, or your second income stream, or more income streams, and create the kind of life that we want to create? Because I think that this business of self-publishing is really something we can use as a springboard to something even bigger, something that allows us to branch out into different things. And you might find something that you really enjoy. And if you have something that you really enjoy, you can create a business around that. You can create products, digital products around that. And that is what I find so interesting and so exciting about this business. So yes, let me know what you have been doing this year. What are your biggest takeaways from this year? What have you learned? And what do you think you could expand on next year? What do you need from me as well to help you do that? What would you like to know? And by the way, talking about what would you like to know, I've got a podcast with Keith Wheeler, and we're planning our 100th episode. And we thought we'd do that episode around your questions. So if you've got any questions for the podcast, let me know in the comments. You can ask us anything, honestly, and we'll try and answer. And yeah, that's our plan for next year for the podcast. But for the Home Boss, let me know what you would like me to help you with, because I'd love to know what it is that I can do to help your business go forward and help you create another income stream, or even just increase the one that you have. So this was a different type of video to my normal videos. I probably talked too much about the same sort of things, but I just wanted to let you know what I'm thinking, what I'm planning for this year, for the next year, and what I've learned this year, which was quite a lot. So I'm really pleased with how it's gone this year, and I'm really excited about next year. So thank you so much also for watching this channel. And if you want to know more about building a digital business, self-publishing, hit subscribe and ding the little bell so you get notifications. And as always, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.